Are you ready?
Here we go.
The following podcast is scheduled for One Talk.
One talk.
And once again, we have not figured out what it's for, other than for the benefit of everyone at home. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the after session, live with your hosts, Adam and Aaron. What is the crack, ladies and gentlemen? And more so, what is the story, Aaron? How are you getting on? Good to see you 1 week on from last time.
What's happening? How are you? How is everyone? It's another, It's Monday today. Oh, the only thing that gets me through these Mondays is knowing that I'm recording with you later on in the evening. So you got me through today, as you always do.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. Thank you so much for that. Because in fairness, I know you're not lying about that. The old job can be a bit of a killer sometimes.
Yeah.
And myself, I'm absolutely buzzing after a long weekend of hocking me fucking lungs up. I finally have clear airways. I don't sound stuffy. And I am here to speak with my mate. What's the fucking story?
You have a clean shave, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, for the first time, I'd say, since 2020, I've gone babyface. I'm like the baby-faced assassin right now. I'm like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is a bit funny because it just gets sacked.
Yeah. But you remind me of like something from like 2010 or something, like with the hair, the shave, like the clean shave, the hat. It's like, where's your chinos, mate, and your Rihanna top?
Oh, don't forget me skateboard, man. Oh, the Rihanna top. Oh, jeez, the Rihanna top. 4 cans of Druids as well, and a bit of Devil's Bit. Might get a little 9 grammer of fucking amber leaf too to go with it for a £5, and then a little lovely nag and a hooser. Telling you, you're bringing back good memories.
Oh, stop. When
I
you
don't
want to
remember
spin?
any.
You want to spin AFL weekend, are you?
Going out to AFL, then out to Blaze, then afterwards, bro, you know yourself, wrecking the gaff. But come here, before we get on to talking all manners of matchy, right? I believe you may have jumped the gun this time because we need to do dad jokes.
We do indeed.
Okay. I'm going to hit you with my one first, if you don't mind.
Hopefully you can beat last week's one, because last week's was a belter.
Oh, when I tripped over my tongue, or are you talking about your really good one?
No, my really good one, obviously.
Okay. Right, here you go. What does a janitor say when he jumps out of the closet? Supplies!
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, these are proper dad jokes. I love it.
Sorry, I'm getting really sore now. My arm is really, really sore from trying to hold all of this shit up, you know?
Carrying the podcast on your shoulders.
Oh, that's it. My neck is getting sore from carrying this big fucking ego, bro.
Right, I have 2, but I'll probably save for next week.
Okay.
If Michael Jackson was still around, what would his pronouns be? Hee. We laugh way too hard at these, I swear to God.
Yeah, let's hope the people at home are laughing just as hard.
Oh, everyone clicks off now to our grant. We scared them away.
Ah, fuck it. Yeah, we can start coming out with mad shit now if everyone's just going to click off. Anyway, sound for the stream, guys. Thanks. Just remember, click off for 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes counts as a stream, you know yourself.
Just before you leave, hit the follow button or subscribe or something, please, before you go. Cheers.
That's it. We love to see it.
We do. Go on to this or that.
Yeah, why not? Right, I have a this or that for you, right? But you're going to have to put yourselves in the shoes of an unfortunate bastard. I'm going to ask you to put yourself in the shoes of a Manchester United fan, right? Would you rather still have Ollie for the rest of the season, or would you like for them to hire Steve Bruce? What would be your go-to there?
Oh, good God. Probably Steve Bruce, because he won't concede many goals, get a few nil draws. Go rest the season with feet.
Maybe you just needed 1,000 matches as a pre-season, you know, just to really kick on for that second 1,000 games.
And he's United legends as well.
Yeah, because that's worked out before.
Yeah. We'll get into all that shit later.
Of course.
Right, I only have 2 because I couldn't really think of any, but when do you
keep it short and sweet.
It's not really this or that. It's when do you stop saying afternoon and say evening? At what time frame?
About 4 o'clock.
So let's say it's 3 o'clock, like afternoon.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the evening, yeah.
Actually makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
And 3:30 is pre-even.
Yeah, 3:30 is just I never really noticed 3:30. 3:30 is just kind of there in the background, just kind of pisses about, you know. Nothing
Yeah.
ever happens at 3:30. 4:30, at least they're off work.
Yeah, 3:30 when I come back from lunch, but lunchtime.
Back. I love a late lunch. Honestly.
I had a proper late one today, but go on.
Proper late one? Lovely. Right, I'll ask you this. So you have this or that here. You have no breaks during the day when you're in work and finish early, or have breaks you can take at any time in the day. So what I mean by that is, say you don't take your hour, just by proxy, if you want, you can just take your hour for the last hour you're supposed to be in and go home early.
Can I have food at the desk and continue to work?
Yeah.
Can I do
But you're
that?
working from home, so whatever you're doing at your desk is that's your thing.
Yeah,
I'm not looking at you through that webcam, I swear.
I'd rather eat at my desk and leave an hour earlier because, like, well, it depends what day it is. Because sometimes I take dog away over lunch, and sometimes I take them out after lunch. So it all depends. But if I had the option there, I'd just eat at the desk, continue to work, and just get back to it. Just get up every hour or so. Because you can't sit at your desk all day. You have to actually get up and like walk to the kitchen or walk to the bathroom or something. Just stretch your legs out.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't mind, right? If I was given the option, just this is my answer in general. If I was given the option, I'd be like, lovely, yeah, just I won't take a break and I'll just piss off them when I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, being honest, once you work up the hours, that's what it should be. Because I heard some, not to take away from the this or that or anything, but I was listening to a guy talking a while ago. Fuck me, of course I can't remember his name. But he was talking about how, like, say if you're going to do this job for me, right? You're trying to sell yourself to do this job for me. Say you're a plumber or an electrician or whatever, and you go, I can do it in, like, how long will it take you to do it? You're like, a day, right? So I'll pay you this much an hour. What if it doesn't take that full day? What if they could get it done in half the day? Would you pay them more to get it done in half the day? So you're actually getting paid for the work you're doing rather than the time you're spending in the office twiddling your thumbs, you know?
Yeah, I think I heard that before. Sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it makes a lot more sense. It's just a smarter way of doing it, because if you're paying people for their time, then people piss about and take their time, you know what I mean? But if you're paying for the work to get done, if you want to get the work done and be like, lovely, I'll get paid the same amount, like, fuck off early, you'll get it done straight away.
Yeah. Maybe when we have our own business, we can work that way.
Now, when we have our own business, I have a great idea. It's called not having to pay income tax, because you won't be getting a salary, Aaron, and unfortunately, either will I. We'll just be getting share dividends at the end of every year. We can take share prices, do what the rich people do. Do you know how they keep their money?
Yeah.
Mega rich. What they do is they have, say, assets, and they borrow against the assets. So the asset will grow in value, but they never actually have to pay any tax because they're not taking out any of the money from the asset. They're taking out money from banks and lending institutions and borrowing against the asset, using the asset as collateral. So in actual fact, they're not actually spending their own money.
All right. That's why they're rich and we're not.
See, well, right now.
For now, we're catching up with you.
And look, in fairness, the only thing that runs well in our government probably is the tax system. So we will be found out eventually.
But come here. Do you eat rice with a fork or a spoon?
Do I eat rice with a fork or a spoon?
Yeah.
Right, I have a follow-on for you. Am I having that else, or is it just rice?
Let's say the curry's finished. There's a half a tub of rice left, and you're trying to finish it. Would you go for a fork or a spoon?
Fork. Don't know why, but I'll go for a fork.
Yeah, I don't know what. I was either watching something or listening to something today, and they were talking about eating rice with a fork or a spoon. And like, if you're having the curry, obviously like a 4-in-1, you have a fork. But if it's just a tub of rice there, I'd have either a fork or a spoon. Doesn't make a difference to me.
Yeah, see, I don't know, because like at the end of the day, if you're just eating rice, I get what you mean. If you're just eating rice, you probably should go with the spoon, because the fork is going to be just about as good or just about as useful as a waterproof tea bag. But like, yeah, I don't know. I suppose I should probably change my thinking on that and start using the spoon.
Yeah, you can tell we're two gobshites eating rice with a big fork. Just keeps falling through the big gaps.
What's a fork, bro? Anyway, sorry. Shut your tent to the joke. That's my third dad joke right there.
It's like eating fucking soup with a fork.
Yeah, Jesus, imagine doing that. You'd have to be devoid of a few brain cells for that shit to be happening. But come here, right? We'll move forward, right, from what we were talking about there. Is there anything you want to bring up this week? Is there anything that you found in the news that's been of any interest to you whatsoever?
There
There's a few things
was,
that
but
jump.
I can't remember.
Okay, well,
One thing on my
hopefully you'll
mind
get
is
to
these
refresh your
fucking
memory.
lockdowns.
Yeah, see, I see in Austria are going back into a full lockdown. Australia kind of never really came out of it, or did New
No.
Zealand, I don't think. Good old fucking Florida. Florida is doing bits, as always. And I wouldn't mind. Isn't Florida like a fucking old folks' home, basically?
Not really. No, I was there and I don't think I've seen any old folks.
Really?
Wouldn't mind. I was only
I was
talking
always
to
told that that's...
I was only talking to a girl at work today. She's going to Orlando next April or June or something. And I was only talking about Orlando today, and she's staying on International Drive, and I was like, "Oh my god, I stayed there." There's an absolute whopper restaurant at the end of International Drive. It's a steakhouse. So there's a big Ferris wheel down the end of the road, and beside that is a steakhouse. I was like, that is one of the best meals I've ever had anywhere. That steak was beautiful.
Do you remember the name of it?
The place now, but I'm sure if I check the location on my phone, I'll be able to find it. Because I have a picture of the steak, was that nice. And I just got talking about Orlando and just brought back memories. I know it was only about bleeding, 3 years ago or something, but it just brings back a lot of memories. Can be a good old holiday.
Oh, that's it, you can't. And I wouldn't mind. I've never actually been to the States. I've never been stateside.
First time.
Yeah.
And that's where I proposed as well, so it has a little special place in my heart.
There you go. You'll always have that memory. It's a shame you can't remember the restaurant, but sure, look, we'll edit that bit out.
I know it was a good place, and I want to go traveling around the States. Like, I want to do a thing where I start off in maybe LA and travel across America, go see everything, and finish off in Disney, spend a few days there, and travel home. I think that'd be a good old trip.
Oh, fair. Now, like, would you class that as being on your bucket list?
Had the money, yeah. Like, if I won the lotto tomorrow, I'd do it.
Fair enough. Actually, there's a question for you. Have you, at any point ever, sat down and tried to write down a bucket list?
No, because I've done near enough everything I want to do, bar like traveling really. But there's very few places I want to go to now, bar travel across America. Like, maybe visit Iceland and do the traveling thing across America. Apart from that, like, can't think of anywhere I'd like to go. Like, maybe there's a few things, like go to Dortmund match, go to like
Be a part of the Yellow Wall.
Yeah, and like go to New Camp and the Bernabeu. Like, them three things I love to do. But like, apart from that, I can't think of anywhere I want to go, because I've been pretty much everywhere. I've been to England, France, Spain, Canary Islands, looking America. Done pretty much everything I want to do, so I haven't really got a bucket list.
Oh,
I've
fair enough.
Been to All Ireland finals, been on the Hills All Ireland final, been to Liverpool match, been on the Cop. Abseiled off Crow Park. I've done that. Like,
You've done a lot.
Yeah, I know it might sound stupid, like, oh, that's not all he did, but maybe go to Anfield for a European night.
Yeah, there's something. That's something there, man.
Yeah.
It'll be unbelievable. I have one thing on mind at the minute, and it's probably never going to happen, and you'll understand why. It's go follow Ireland over to a World Cup.
And
I wouldn't mind. I'm absolutely delighted. I hate to be the one to say it, but I'm fucking chuffed, right? We did make it to Qatar, because I wasn't my bollocks going over to sit there Christmas Day, sweat me balls off in the desert, like. Ask my bollocks, like. That's not happening. No. And I'm delighted we're not making it. I'm really, really am happy with that, like. But I wouldn't mind now. I think 2026 is supposed to be between Mexico, the States, and Canada. Ooh. That wouldn't be a bad fucking trip, like.
To show, yeah. Actually, not a bad idea. Jeez.
Yeah. Sure. Look, I don't know. Other bucket list things. I don't know. I'll probably have to sit down and look at it. But my mind changes every 5 minutes anyway, so I probably want to, like, by the time I write it down, I probably won't want to do half the shit, like.
Yeah, I'm the same. Sure, I've said earlier plenty of times, like I said to her, like, if I die tomorrow, I'll die happy because I've done enough everything I wanted to do. So, like, there's some mad things out there, like owning Tesla and fucking keeping the family happy, buying them homes, be financially free, and like stupid shit like that. It's never going to happen.
Basically, be Elon Musk and all.
Yeah, but like things that are achievable are literally going to football matches or go to across America or Iceland. That's literally all I have. I'd love to
Sorry, Aaron.
skydive.
Skydiving would be amazing. I
I'm
just
too
don't
tall.
think I'd be able to.
I'm too tall to skydive.
Yeah, I think we might be, yeah. But I want to take a moment here just for a word from someone that is not our sponsor. If Carlsberg did podcasts,
It wouldn't be
they would
this one.
probably have a lot better production value than this one. Carlsberg, Danish Pilsner, they don't sponsor us.
And not have one of the co-hosts sit there playing with a fucking... What's this?
What is that? Is that glow stick?
It's a glow wristband, Joe. It's just sitting behind the laptop there from don't know how long and just playing with it.
Someone must have been at a rave the other night, ready?
Bingo Loco.
Oh, Bingo Loco, yeah.
I'll tell you what it is.
How-
Probably from that.
How was Bingo Loco?
Yeah, decent. I think we talked about it already, did we? 2 podcasts
I think we
ago?
did actually, yeah. You didn't win a prize now, I know that much. I'm just not sure if you
Oh.
told me that in person, on the phone, or on the podcast.
I had a few ideas from that. I'm thinking about looking up and getting a life-size cardboard cut out for like behind me or something. But I don't know
Why
how.
not? A life-size cardboard cutout. Don't do Michael D. Higgins because they won't see him over it.
No.
Warwick
Please.
Davis and Frodo Baggins are obviously out of there as well. Peter Crouch. Get the Peter Crouch. Is
Oh
your
my
room
god,
tall?
yes.
If your room can fit you, it can fit Crouchy as well.
Yeah, life-size. Yeah, that's... I'll look that up after the podcast. That's what I'm going to do.
Why the fuck not? Like, why not? And I wouldn't mind. It's actually a great idea. I'm kind of pissed off now that we don't, like, had we been doing a, what would you call it, Chris Kindle or Secret Santa or whatever. If we were doing that in the office, that would have been a belter of a present to get you. Well, sure, look, guess I get to keep my own money. Come on, this time of year, though. Yeah, fucking hell. Sure, like, man, this time of year, though, that's one of the things that, like, I don't really mind doing, but, like, at the end of the day, I find that, like, for the most part, you don't know the people in your office well enough.
Yeah.
To do a Chris Kindle. For the most, you really don't. And you always get left with I know in my experience of it, I always get left with someone that I know, like, the least amount of, like, about. And I'm just sitting there being like, what the fuck? Like, have I ever had a conversation with this person? Do they smoke? Have they had a drink with me before? So I try to recycle through every fucking memory I have.
Yeah.
And then I always pull it out of the bag anyway, you know, I'm a good gift getter. But, like, man, I just don't like Chris Kindle. I don't mind. I do it with the lads. That'd be fresh because I love the lads. You get them a piss take present, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Buy one of them a hole in the ground and say they can finally go and get it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like something like that.
Or you go to
But
deals
I
and
don't
literally buy nothing. It's literally a plastic yoke filled with air, and it's literally, it says nothing on it. There you go.
Yeah, why not?
Christmas, nothing. Well, there you go.
Nothing. But there you go. There's nothing.
Oh,
See, gas. Like,
I
I just don't know. I like this time of year. It's just, I feel like the obligations that go around this time of year are a bit much. You know?
Yeah, I hate
it's
buying
okay.
presents. I hate
See,
buying presents.
I don't mind it. I like the idea of being like, oh, what will I get this person? But you know when you have an awkward cunt to shop for?
Yeah.
Everyone has a few. Or you at least have one. Hey, what's the crack? Can you think of anything you'd like me to get you? I'd rather get you something you're going to use than something you're going to fuck away or leave in the back of the wardrobe.
You know what else is weird? Like if someone says let's say for argument's sake your ma goes, like you go to your ma, what do you want for Christmas? Like, let's get me a pair of pajamas. I feel real scabby just getting that.
Oh, I feel like a wanker.
Oh,
I feel like a wanker to do that.
I mean, I believe
Like, that was
like,
okay
something nice, like.
I was like, that was okay when I wasn't working and wasn't making money. Like, trying to make
it was grand 10 years ago, and Dad bought
your birthday as well. Like,
yeah. It was grand when your dad was buying it for her or whatever, but just get me fucking pajamas. No, I want to get you like something nice that you want and need.
Exactly.
I need a lot of things. Well, fucking tell me what you want then. And then there's other
just
things.
short of a bleeding wash machine, like, do you know what I mean? Like, something I'm going to use for you, not use for the gaff.
Yeah.
That's like, I even said it to my sister, because my sister moved into a house there about 2 years ago. And I was saying to her, I was like, well, do you want that for Christmas? Can you pick something out or just give me an idea, right? I wouldn't mind. My ma came obviously saying, goes, I have a little list for you of things that you can pick through to get your sister. I was like, that's fine. But like, I found myself like standing there being like, I don't know what you want. If you tell me what you want, I'll go and get it. If not, I'm just going to buy you something that I think you're going to need for your house. And that's not really much of a Christmas present for her, is it?
No.
Like, it's like, oh, here you go, spoons and forks, so you can make that choice of how you want to eat your own rice. Like, do you know what I mean?
Here's a Chinese, what's it called? A China plate. Here you go. Here's an ornament. Oh, yeah. Thanks. I'm just going to put that on the shelf and forget about it. Appreciate it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I really like this time of year. I like how it brings people together and everything like that. But I just think some of the things you're like, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? Like, also as well as that, I don't know who to be getting presents for and who not to be getting presents for at the
I
time.
know, yeah. Like since we moved out, we're like, shit, do we buy presents for everyone now, or what's the story?
That's it. And like, see, even more so for you, as you are a couple, do you buy presents together, or do you buy one from you and one from her? Do you know what I mean?
We
They're
buy
the sort of
together.
questions that have to fucking asked. Good,
I
good.
buy for my family, put her name on it. She buys for her family, puts my name on it.
Yeah, that's smart as fuck. Best way to do it.
Yeah. I want the money for that shit. Fuck that.
Fair. Well, look, come here. Moving on from something that's lovely and brings everybody together. Let's move on to something that's horrible and tears everyone apart. On Dáil Éireann, how are we getting on here? Do you ever watch? Have you ever seen? It's like the Dáil videos of the Dáil or the Oireachtas or anything like that. It's videos of the government speaking and opposition. They have like leaders' questions and stuff like that. Do you ever look at it? News Talk has it up on YouTube all the time.
I
Have you ever
see
seen
on
it?
TikTok, yeah.
Right. Well, I fucking implore anyone who's listening to this to go on to News Talk or go on to anywhere you can find these fucking videos of Micheál Martin getting asked basic yes and no questions on the Dáil. And it's the same questions he's been asked for weeks. And he gives the exact same answer. Regardless of who asks him, he goes, well, you really will try put a political spin on anything, right? And it's like, mate, no, shut your mouth and answer the question. Like, I'd love to make a proposal on this, right? I'd love to make a proposal. Do you know, everyone seems to get a petition going online and you never really hear about what happens. I'd love to actually get someone who's like a bit of an expert in Irish law to see how far a petition can go and what the right avenues to take it are. And I want to bring this in. I'd love to this, like, just for this idea to be floated about and see how many people jump on board with it. Because I think a lot of people that get behind it make perjury in the Dáil an offence where you can be imprisoned for. So if you lie in the government chambers, you should be imprisoned.
Yeah.
But they're like, I don't see many people that complain about that. Because at the end of the day, it'll probably mean that more than half of them are going to prison if we don't retrospectively do it. If we do it from here on out, more than half of them are going to prison. If we did it from beforehand, they're all getting locked up. Think about it. All that taxpayer money, it's all there to be spent on other shit rather than paying them fools. I don't know. I think it'd be a fun thing to bring in so they can spend most of the days actually trying to solve problems rather than trying to get sound bites, you know?
I think this is one of the reasons why I don't get into politics, because it just pisses me off. Like, obviously,
I don't blame it.
If I looked into it more, I'd probably get a better understanding for. But from what I see and what I read and all that shit, it just pisses me off. Like, asking a basic question and getting thrown around the roundabout, like, they're not answering it. I know it's what politicians do and all, but it's so annoying. And then, like, seeing something the other day where they're like, I think it was Micheál Martin said that he took over a bad housing crisis, but they've been in government for like 20 something years or 20 odd years. So
I'll put it to you this way. Throughout the entire history of this state, the government has either been made up of Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil as the predominant party in either. There could have been, like, say, for example, Fianna Fáil and the Greens. It could have been Fine Gael and Labour. But the two predominant parties, two of them, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. And when they come up with this bullshit of, oh, well, like, here's the best example for you, right? They say the health system is criminally underfunded. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's not a lie. But how can they not take blame for that when the four, right, both the current health minister and the three previous health ministers are all in the cabinet at the minute. And they include both the sitting Taoiseach and the Taoiseach.
Yeah.
So how can Leo Varadkar, what's your man, Stephen Donnelly, I'm not sure who the other fella is, and Micheál Martin, it's three people that are former health ministers, all blaming the health system that they were in charge of. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the pot. That's not even called the pot on the kettle black. That's like the pot on the kettle of retard. Like, so it doesn't make any sense. Once again, it's a waterproof tea bag.
Yeah. And you know what else pisses me
That's what
off?
I'm going to call Micheál Martin.
They're giving all the TDs free antigen tests, getting fucking 3 pay rise years and all that shit, and they're reducing the put payment while putting people back on it. It's so backwards, this country. It's actually so frustrating. Don't blame people for fucking off. Like,
bro, this country's soul destroying. Like, for people our age, man. For people like, now, like, Jesus Christ, for people at our age, people in their 30s, man, people in their 40s, like, all ages, man, in this country, you're kind of like, it's like you're brought up to be submissive nearly, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If anyone else, if any other country, I'm going to give you this, right? The French are ripped apart all the time. for being, you probably just surrender. Oh no, you know what I mean? Right? When the French don't like something, what happens? There's riots.
Yeah.
There's fucking riots, like.
Well, it's not
And shit
broadcast
gets.
to keep people in line.
No. Years ago, yeah, it would have been.
No,
They cause enough unrest.
I seen
They
something
cause enough
recently.
unrest.
I seen
Look,
something
sorry,
last
just
year
let me
about
finish this. I'm sorry for cutting across you, because if I don't, I could get pulled up for someone on this. I'm not advocating violence of any sort. What I am advocating is that if you see something wrong and you think that someone needs to go and change it, start having the conversation with people that might want to actually collaborate with you and might be able to put your plan into action. I'm not saying going around smash up shop windows. I'm not saying to riot. I'm just saying that people should never fear their government, but a government should always fear their people. At the end of the day, this is where the power really lies. Power really lies is with the two of us, with the people at home, people that don't listen to this, the people that do listen to this. Anyone that pays tax in this country or was born here, the power lies with you. If you want to change anything here, go and fucking change it. Just try to do it peacefully. Do you know what I mean? I can't believe, like, as if like someone is going to take my message. Do you know what I mean? Me, Adam Kelly, 24, local gobshite. Like, who's going to take my message and run with it? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have to put that in there because there's always the off chance that some fool will go and use what I've said here and go, oh, well, Adam Kelly told me to do that. Like, no, I didn't. Read the rest or listen to the rest of the fucking clip, mate. But like, no, people need to realise the government should live in fear of the people, not the people living in fear of the government.
There was one example of that.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Without belief in a political system, the political system has no power. If you believe, right, in the democracy of this country, yeah, you believe in the judicial system, you believe in everything. That has power because of the amount of people that believe in it. If 60% of the country turn around and go, we're not following the fucking rules anymore, go fuck yourself, you dozy bastard, or come up with new rules, and we might. I don't see the Garda being able to arrest 60% of the country.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where are they going to put them all in prison?
And
It's a populist thing. If there's a movement behind it and enough voices behind it, the government tend to shit themselves and fold. But that doesn't happen over here. That's the point I'm trying to make, is people get it to a point where it's like, oh yeah, they talked about it on the news. Oh, look, you see that was on Instagram. I put it on my story. Oh my God. About 10 minutes later, it's gone. Like,
yeah.
No one gives the bollocks. It's washed away with, oh, well, post your name on your story and show us what Urban Dictionary says. Who gives a bollocks? Who cares? Like,
There was one
I'm pretty
example
sure
of
Urban
that.
Dictionary probably has my name down as cunt.
There was one example of people protesting. That was the water charges there a few years ago. Remember that? Everyone was.
There we go. Look what happened.
Yeah. And now they're trying to get a protest for the fuel prices, and I don't drive now, but they're gone fucking mental now. I think it was only like even last year.
Car the other day, bro. That bad. Very bad. I'd seen something that was about 179 for petrol for a litre. 160, 168 for fucking diesel. I thought diesel was supposed to be cheap.
Yeah. There was a time where it was like, I think it was later last year, the year before, it was like 116 for diesel, which my car is 20 quid. And like, I literally had like, I was on nearly the light, 20 quid in, just over half a tank. Grand. I have a bar or two, I throw about 30, 40 quid, and it just gets me over the halfway line. It's just
ridiculous.
I know there's a fella on there's a fella, I think his name is, I don't know his full name, but it's Bob something, I think. And he got a protest around the Dáil there 3 weeks ago. Like, loads of cars drove from the country and started circling like around the Dáil and drove around and all that. And he got a petition done, had like thousands of signatures. So I know they're trying to protest over that. Because
is it pyrite and mica? Is that to do with?
That's another thing that they're protesting over in Donegal. And
that's something that needs 100% redress. Do you ever look into that? Yeah, I'd imagine you have come across shit like that, especially with our line of work. We won't get into what we work as, but like, man, that's a horrible situation. And anything other than 100% for them to build a new gaff, like I'd be going there with a pitchfork looking for someone's head, man, if I didn't get that. Because it's not their fault that gaff was falling apart, like, so they shouldn't be saddled with the price of it.
No. So I was down there in Andy's one night and showed the news on, and they showed the RT up in Donegal or whatever, and it showed someone at their gaff, and he went to the corner of it, and he literally there's a hole in the corner of the gaff, like it goes straight down a hole. Like that's not safe. What the fuck is going on?
It's to do with like faulty concrete. Or faulty concrete made from whatever quarry it was came from. It wasn't good enough. So like, I understand the government might have the position of being like, well, we didn't build the houses, so we're not paying at them. But like realistically, it should be the developer that has to pay back for all of that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you're in a system where we're in a like realistically, we're in like a basically semi-socialist economy. Like, do you know what I mean? We live in a country where the social benefits, like, do you know what I mean? You get social welfare in this country. You're looked after. Yet, like, these people who are fucked over on probably the biggest investment in their life, their home, where they're supposed to live for the rest of their fucking life, or until they decide, I need to move somewhere else. They're told, nah, sort it yourself.
Yeah.
That there's something about that it really just doesn't sit right with me. Like, that's a nice, like, if you put yourself in their shoes, like, you'd be doing the exact same thing as them. And I know if it was me, I'd probably be doing, like, I'd probably be in the fucking ground by now. Well, shit, I would have tried, like.
Like, the fucking government don't care about the housing prices. Like, the crisis now is probably the worst it's been. It's fucking crazy. I seen something the other day and it was like, first time buyer for young couples or whatever, this gaff. It was all right. Nearly 500,000. It's like 470. They're saying that's fourth time buyers, that's affordable.
Well, I give you a laugh here. Do you want me to solve the housing crisis?
Go on.
Right. See, once all the businesses, the suck funds or cuckoo funds or whatever you want to call it, vulture funds and all that, once they build all their apartments and shit like that and all their housing projects, should just bring in legislation that says in order to own and avail of any residential property within the Republic of Ireland built since the foundation of the state, one, the owner must be a resident of the state who is present in the state no less than 75% of the year.
Yeah.
Or else, I'm sorry, see all your like all the residential property then gets taken away. And people would be like, but oh no, this is the one detraction I'd hear from it would be, well, anytime I've given anyone this idea. What about multinational corporations investing? Notice how I said it. Residential. Only residential properties. Only properties meant for people to live in can be owned by people who live in the country. Do you know what I mean?
I'm
That makes sense.
The company I live in now, because I'm not actually renting off like an actual landlord. I'm renting off a company. I'm gonna look up where they're from.
But do you get what I mean, right? So say I wouldn't mention their name if I was you, but where they're from, yeah. But say, for example, if you did that, I bet you'd see a lot of houses clear out. I bet you because there's so much more on the market then, what happens? Prices go. For those listening on Spotify, I made a downward motion. Prices go down. It's all to do with supply and demand. And if the state aren't willing to build houses and have been fucked over by developers in the past, why not? Why not counterattack? You know what I mean? Why not let the developers sink their money into it and then go, ha ha ha, pulling that rug there, boys. Sorry about just fuck off. You're still open to business, to actual business. You're not open to raping the wallet of every family that tries to buy a home in Ireland.
Yeah, they're saying like what? Let's say the average income in Ireland is what?
€47,000. It's between 42,500 and 47,500 on an annual basis.
Yeah, I was gonna say 45 just to keep an average. So there is
a lot of 45, yeah.
Like that's being generous, but there is a lot of people on less than that. And
yeah,
let's say for argument's sake, I'm gonna do a calculation here. Me and you are a couple, both earning 45 grand each, 90 grand a year. So we're going to get a mortgage. Have a guess of what we get.
270,000.
315. And
is that the 3.5?
Yeah. So 3.5 times 90 grand is 315,000. But yet the average prices are 450 plus.
So yeah, imagine being on minimum wage.
450 divided by 3.5 divided by 2. You'd need to be on 64 grand each.
Bro, I'll put it to you this way. Imagine being right. We wouldn't have met a lot of people like this in our former line of work. Imagine being a single mother, right? Who's working 16 hours a week and getting family income supplement at the same time. And the only reason she's working the 16 hours is so she can be supplemented with that income. So who knows what that even comes up to? It's not a lot. It doesn't come to a huge amount. Imagine them trying to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in Dublin. I'm not saying North Dublin. You don't even have to pick a nice area in North Dublin. pick any random shithole in North Dublin. The thing could be leaking. There could be water damage everywhere and electrical damage. And do you know how much it's going to be paying? About 1,800 quid probably.
Yeah, I think the low end you're looking at about 1,200. That's for like literally like a one bed with your kitchen in your bedroom. That's like probably what you're looking at. And then I think the
Yeah,
average
well, sure.
rent is,
DHL delivered me something the other day, bro, and I feel like renting out the box for 300 quid a month.
I'm gonna look up the average rent in Dublin because I say it's up near £2,000.
Do you know what we'll do, right? You look it up. I'm gonna throw a guess out there, right?
Right, go
And
have it in
anyone
front
that's
of me.
watching along, throw a guess in as well. My guess is average rent in Dublin is €1,400.
No, it's €1,684, and that was at the end of Q4 last year, so it's probably gone up.
That's the end of Q4 since last year. I'll
Yeah,
give you this. Outside of Dublin, the figures on housing have gone up by housing prices have gone up by almost 16% outside of Dublin.
Yeah.
In Dublin, I'm not even sure, to be honest. So if it was 1,600 last year, like,
But mate, how's that
it
make
just
sense?
screams. It's a cry for help, like, do you know what I mean?
Like
And
we're getting by, like, but we're not living the life of luxury. Like we have a nice place
no,
or whatever, yeah, but it's not as if we're now we're going on holidays, but it's because we have savings there that we're on the holidays. Like,
yeah,
if we hadn't got savings, we wouldn't be gone away. We can't save.
bro, and call a spade a spade. You work your bollocks off for the time you get off and the money that you make, like.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like you're working your arse off, and it's more of a live to work. It's almost right. It's almost like Dublin is getting styled like London. Is the way I'm thinking about it. Like
Yep.
in terms of it's not work to live. It's live to work. Same way the States is. Like we might have more statutory holidays, and as I said earlier, might be a bit of a welfare state in some aspects, but you won't be able to. Like you wouldn't survive just off social welfare here. What would you
Oh
do?
God, no.
You'd be dead in the street. Like.
What's that? What's it? 240 a week, is it?
203.
Jesus.
€203 a week. Imagine trying to survive off that. Remember a few years ago they put it down to €1 a week for anyone under 25. It's like 100 quid a week.
Mate, when I first went on the social welfare, I got out skills on
No wonder people
€6
are
a week.
selling drugs to beat the band.
I know.
No wonder there's a drug problem all over this country. No wonder. I'm not even fucking lying. Like, I feel like I'm cutting a promo for half of this. I feel like this is like a wrestling promo I'm trying to cut on Dáil Éireann. Like,
No, but
fucking morons. Like, inept retard.
How does that make sense? If the average housing prices in Dublin is 400 and I don't know what I said, 60 or 70. That was last year, so it's probably gone up. So
Yeah.
the average income is 45 and the average house is you have to be earning 64 grand each. So how does that make sense? The average income is less than what you need to afford the average house.
So what the claim is basically is that basically the housing market, the inflation on the housing market is actually it's rising faster than like say the inflation on wages and salaries and stuff.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. But that is true. That is true. We're all aware that's true because anyone that can see numbers can go, oh wait, that one's getting bigger. Why is that getting bigger so much faster than my money? Right? But like, oh bollocks, I forgot what I was gonna say. Man, it's just, I don't know. It's the whole thing really, it just gets my mind going because it gets me really pissed off because I know like everyone says like, oh, I could solve it. I actually could solve it and I can lay out my exact plans and budget for how it's solved. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of it involves getting rid of most of the cunts that are there because they're just useless. As Bertie Ahern said in the Dáil, I don't even know fucking when, but I will get you to put this clip on with it. We'd get a lot more work done here if you weren't such a waffler. If you stopped waffling, we might actually get something done. Hey, you're a waffler. You do nothing but waffle. Now, think about it. That was in our government. That was the leader of the government turned around and was like, you're a waffler. You're a fucking waffler.
You're a
I
waffler,
love that
Harry.
he said today. Imagine I look, come here. Mary Lou McDonald, look, come here, probably does a great job. I don't really know to the extent of what she does. I call her Scary Flu McDonald because I just think it's funny. But she looks for sound bites when she could genuinely just turn around and eat Micheál Martin alive. Because realistically, I'd say Micheál Martin probably is a really, really nice dude. And I'm speaking from the heart here. I'd say he's a really nice dude. And I don't really think the fella has too much like maliciousness in him. But at the same time, if you knew him, you'd call him Smithers. Do you know what I mean? You'd call him Smithers and he looks like Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Like, man, how? How is he the leader of the country?
It's so backwards. But yeah, like I talked to my nanny and all, she bought her house for about 20
Oh,
something grand or something. That's a
yeah,
deposit now. And she bought a gaff for that.
man. My sister and her fella saved for years and put it like I think it was like 40 or 50K deposit down because that was like all the money they'd like been able to save for fucking years. Now, bear in mind, man, my sister's like 31 and her and her boyfriend together 14 years. So even if they start saving 10 years, 10 years ago, it's 5 grand a year they're only able to save between two people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
And you know what's
screens volumes for the money that was flying around here pre 2008. It's fucking, it's, I don't know. We're literally a society on the edge of what I look at. It's a society that basically should be on the edge of collapse. There's so much getting put on the people of this country and they just take it. And it's like we're gluttonous for trauma. Because if you look at the history of the Irish people, it has been nothing but trauma. And obviously there's been a few reliefs and like a few like times where the trauma has relented. We've gone from basically being in an abusive relationship with Britain that hasn't really ended. It's kind of still there. And now they're coming back with Brexit. Right. So that's happening there. We're getting used by Europe as a negotiating tool because no one wants a hard border put back on the island. And if you walked into on Dáil Éireann, you would say, I'm surrounded by idiots. Like, I feel like CM Punk talking about WWE, man. If you looked in there, you'd be like, idiot, glad-handing yes, man. It's like, oh, what a great idea. Like, do you know what I mean? Give me money. That's what it's all about. Give me money. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm going incoherent here and just being really aggressive and all. But I want to say this. Leo Varadkar, white collar boxing, 28th of November 2022. I'm calling you out.
Oh,
get in the ring. And I'll punch the head off you. There won't be a protest outside your gaff, Leo. I'll be protesting in the ring to keep you in for another 2 rounds.
You know, it's gas, like they're saying, they're telling people to move back home to save up money. You don't be fucking 30 living at home to save money, like that's so disheartening. Like I find it hard living at home at being 26.
Do you know what it's going to be? It's going to unhurriedly. It'll probably turn into a family home situation. It'll be like the bleeding tenements. Wait to see, like it'd be like fucking 3 generations of the same people living, or the same family living in the same gaff, man. And it'll be all over the place.
Do you know what's gas? Like even the renting thing, people get a gaff and they're like, right, I'm not going to rent out just the gaff. I'm going to rent out rooms and make more money from it. So let's say they could charge. Let's say you went to get a gaff and it was €1,400 rent. They might they might have 3 bedrooms and rent them out for €700 each. Boom, making more money.
Yeah.
So you could be living with fucking 3 other people, like randomers, sharing a kitchen, a sitting room, and all that. Like plenty of people do it.
See, in that case, man, it's whoever owns the lease. So, like, for an example there, I have a friend, Stephen, who's living down the country. I won't mention any more than that out of fear that he might get hurt. But Stephen was living down the country and he had 3 roommates, basically, right? So he didn't have the lease. The fella that had the lease was the first person that moved in. Let's call him Bicky, right? Right. So Bicky, right? Him and his girlfriend, between the two of them, I think paid like say €250 or €300 for the rent. Right now, bear in mind this is down the country, so it's not that much in a difference. Say they paid $250. Stephen then paid $350, and the other person was paying $450. Do you know what I mean? So for the same thing, for the exact same thing, they're all paying different rates. So I get what you mean, man. It happens all over the market. It really does.
It's so disheartening.
I don't believe it.
What future do we have?
Look, the future is what we as a generation make it. You know what I mean? What the people that come before us make it. But until we can find a common ground, which I feel like we really are, I feel like everyone's kind of coming together and gone, right, come here, look, we'll put up with this bollocks ourselves, but our kids won't be. So I think enough people are starting to put the foot down and go, fuck this. You clearly don't know what you're doing. They need to get rid of the nepotism in Irish politics. They need to get rid of it. My idea would be to scrap it and just go, look, it was a lovely idea at the time, and Bunrock na Heron is written beautifully. But we've had to change that a few times, so why don't we change how we govern the country? Why not actually get people that are the experts in their field? Why not allow the scientists, engineers, top business people, people that get like fucking the best grades in their class, right? Now, I'm not going purely analytical here. Why not get people, the top people in the social sciences, the likes of the psychology and the medicine, sociology, everything. Get the top minds and go, we will pay you a shitload of money if you can give us a better, more ideal Ireland than this sad sack of shit former primary school teachers that couldn't run a classroom can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think it'd be that difficult because there was an idea like that tried out they wanted to try it out in the States back in like the 1920s and 1930s. But you know what happened? It got lumped in with communism. So that was a no-no. Like fear destroys everything. Like, but fucking hell, man. I'd love to see what happened. Like, Ireland has some of the brightest minds in the world. We have a great educational structure. So why can't we seem to keep the smartest people? Maybe because the people in government keep giving them too horrible of a situation to stay in. You know what I mean? Like,
question.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever own your own gaff in Ireland?
No.
And that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, it's the saddest thing about it, man. Personally, like I don't even want to buy in Dublin. No. I genuinely don't want to be near other people.
But you know what's gas?
I want to be out the sticks by myself.
If you were to save up and buy a gaff, by the time you have a big enough deposit to cover the loans of value and all that shit, you'll be, let's say, late 30s, 40s, and you can only get what, a 20-year mortgage.
I know where
you've
you're
got
going.
A mortgage now, it'd be, you could pay it over a longer term, and now you're paying more interest and whatever, but it'll be cheaper. The later you leave it, the more you'll be paying in the short amount of time.
And like, think about it as well. Say if I do reach, say, like 35 and I have to pay my mortgage down, right? I have to get a 35-year mortgage because prices of houses have gone up even more by then. You know 70. Just as well as I do. I'll be 70. So will I get signed off for that mortgage if I'm going to be 70 when I'm finishing it?
Nope.
As Vincent McMahon would say, no chance.
What's gas, like, if I was to get a mortgage, I'd be paying probably about €1,000 less than what I'm spending now.
Yeah, I know, it's absolutely fucking mental. But you know what your issue is there? Now, this is me speaking from, I actually don't know. Was your apartment block that you're renting, was that built to rent?
No idea.
Was there apartments in there that were up for sale, like, or were they all for lease?
No, all lease.
That's built to rent. It's the same as around the corner from where I am. There's apartments getting put up on either side of Griffith Avenue, and for anyone that knows what Drumcondra is like for traffic, here's a little fact for you. The Drumcondra Road right now is the fourth busiest road in the country, right? With no added infrastructure on just one part of like Griffith Avenue, near enough to the Malahide Road. I think anyone around the area has drove by it. All of the residents, anyone I've talked to, they've objected to it. It looks like something out of the fucking Cold War that's been erected. But there's a couple of thousand, I think it's 1,600 apartments being put up there with no infrastructure, with nothing to relieve the traffic that's already there. While the Green Party have come in and put in 2 different cycle lanes on either side of the road, making the road even more narrow.
Mate, them cycle lanes are fucking ridiculous.
Oh, they're atrocious. But like, just on the housing thing, like, if you have 1,600 apartments, right? Say in every one of them, at least one person drives, which that wouldn't be too far from the truth.
No.
1,600 cars going into a really heavily populated area that is already full of traffic already, and no extra road getting put in. Now, what sort of harebrained gobshite thought of that with?
And traffic lights every
you can edit in
seconds.
Whack in a nice photo there of who you think it is. Comment below who you think is the gobshite that greenlit those plans.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Like, if you think of it logically, you can understand where they come from. Like, with renting, it's not really secure. Like, you could be fucked out in a month or whatever. With a gaff, they're trying to be safe with their investment. They're not giving you 300 grand for nothing. They want to make sure they earn their money back. So, playing devil's advocate, you can see why it's easier to rent for nearly 2 grand than it is to get a mortgage for €500 a month or whatever.
Well, that's fair. But like as you said there, it's cheaper to get a mortgage than to rent if you're able to get the mortgage secured in the first place and find someone that'll sell something.
To get it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then there's other things of the Rebuild Ireland thing. that you can get more. It's not much, but you can get more mortgage off them. But the thing is, you have to get two like low offers or rejections off banks. But the thing about that is, who has the time to go to the bank because they're always closed? They open from 10 to fucking 4. No one works. Everyone works that time. So when do you
See, I
find the
think
time to go?
banks, man, are built to not be customer friendly.
No.
No, they're not. Like, as much as they like to portray themselves as being customer friendly, if you're the customer and I'm the customer and everyone in this country is a customer of a bank, because like there's not very many cash in hand jobs, so you need to have a current account to get paid into. You're giving money to people. You're basically, it's the funniest thing ever. So I found a bit of hypocrisy in the system, right? If we're a free market, right, for the most part, or even a semi-free market, right? Why are banks so integral? Why are banks so important? Why are they involved in how we get paid and how your money's received? It's almost like someone that was involved in the banks, someone that had friends in government went, here, boys, fucking sort us out there. Leo always comes through, boys. That's it, like the GP contracts during the what was it last year? Leo always comes through, boys. But we can't comment any further because it's an ongoing Garda investigation on that one. You won't see him on Crime Call tonight.
Man, they get paid fucking 80, 90 grand to get all these expenses. Fucking
more than that. 80 or 90 grand for a junior minister.
Yeah, and then they get expenses on top of that. Get their travel expenses, probably phone expenses.
They get they get a pension for everything. They get every pension under the sun.
There you go.
Right. If you had to fight one politician, who would it be?
Any politician.
You have to fight one of them.
From abroad or Irish?
Absolutely anywhere. And don't say Joe Biden. That's too easy. He's already knocked out before the fight starts.
No. That mad bastard from Russia, Putin.
Putin?
I say he's a mad martial arts fella.
Man, Putin would kill you.
Exactly. I'd love to give him a knock.
So, Aaron, as I was saying, we have a guest that's popped along here.
Jake.
No, it's not Jake. It's actually one of the boys.
I don't care.
It's Salad!
Oh, just ruined the podcast.
Salad. Copying me with my hat.
Setting a trend, eh?
No, actually, do you know what? They're not an official sponsor, and I really do think that this should be brought up. Jeff, can you pass me over your hat for a second? Me and Jeff and a lot of our friends, we have a friend that passed away last year, and there's currently a company being run by his fiance. It's called Cronies, isn't it? And they sell, like, say, hats and jumpers and everything like that, but they're raising awareness and raising money for men's mental health and a lot of other male charities. This is just an example of some of the gear that they have. So we're at a fundraiser for them yesterday. The day before yesterday. And just if anybody does want to donate, it's a fucking fantastic cause, get straight over to at Cronies on Instagram. So that's at Cronies, CRONNIES.
And can you buy the stuff off that as well?
I'd imagine so. Sure, look, come here. I'm not a marketer. I was just seeing Jeff with the hat on the top. I may as well give it a shout out, you know? Has to be done, bro, you know? Well, Aaron, after my ear hope, right? After that, please clip that up. Right. After that, I feel like I don't really have that much else to talk about. And now I've actually disappeared from most of the screen, to be honest. I'm way too high up. Right, back. I don't really have anything else to talk about other than getting myself into trouble. I'm probably going to end up with a huge fine, maybe a summons if I keep going on.
I think we're recording nearly an hour. I think we literally ranted for an hour about the government.
I could have went for that. See, that's the sad thing. I could have kept going, right? Right, I'll leave you on this. One last thing, right? If we know that there's any country in Europe that seems to be ahead of the curve and always trying to push boundaries, it's the Germans. And what they've done at the moment is they've gotten rid of Angela Merkel. That was their own choice. Fair play to Angela. Anyway, you can fuck off. The doors over there. Regardless of what government gets into power in Germany, a cross-party agreement has been signed and has been ratified. And what that means is by the time the next German government is put together, the legalization of cannabis will be complete inside Deutschland. Yeah.
Mayor, before we end this, what politician would you fight?
Oh, what politician did I fight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I could punch the list out of Pascal Donahue.
Pascal Donahue, the Minister for
I don't know,
Finance.
man. Honestly, I'd love to just scrap with Leo and be like, at the end of it, just leave him in a bloody pool and go, "You're a doctor. Deal with it."
Oh, mate, on that note, we're going to end the podcast there. Leave it on a high.
Yeah, make sure that you like, share, subscribe on all of our socials, guys. Make sure you're following us on everything. And Leo Varadkar, if you're listening, I've already called you out.
Why call it that next
28th
year?
of November 2022. I'll see you in the former Roy venue.
Adam versus Radcar, Aaron versus Putin. There you go. There's the headliners.
That's it. The people versus the government. Let's do this, boys. The movement has begun.
On that note, we're going to end the podcast there. Don't forget to check out our socials and all that. There's one link in the description that brings you everywhere, to our Insta, to fucking Twitter, YouTube, Spotify app, everywhere. There's a link down below. Click that, bring you everywhere. And don't forget.
Guys, don't forget to check out the cronies as well.
Don't forget to check out Quirky. We can get little tops like this.
Oh,
Boom.
shit. So we do have a sponsor this time.
Might leave it out a referral link in the description.
Yeah. Why not?
Free t-shirts.
Not that link, boys.
Go on.
Right, Aaron, it's been a fucking pleasure, mate. Till next time.
Take it easy, Broski.